Who is your ideal client and how does it work working with you?
Okay, great. I love to talk about the people that I serve. And the demographics, well, for me, it's anybody from the ages of 19 up and up. And what I do is I work with people that have experienced some relationship conflicts, whether it be at work or in your family life or in your interpersonal relationships. And based on that conflict, something happened and it caused a trigger for you. And it's making you feel really uncomfortable and uneasy because you're not really sure why or how the conflict ended up in the way that it did. And when we look at that, sometimes it's based on some of the things that have happened to us in our past that we haven't resolved. So what I do is I help people identify what those issues are, remove those barriers that are holding you back. We set goals so that you're able to resolve your conflicts with confidence.
Hey, I love it. Resolving your conflict with confidence. So powerful and needed, especially at a time like this. I know mental health rates are high. A lot of people are struggling, not just because of the workplace situation, but what we're seeing and hearing a lot about is the racial tensions that exist. Last year the George Floyd incident sparked the world into an awareness for some, but a light, shining a light for those that may not have been aware of some of the challenges. I know that in your work you talk about some of those issues that exist within the Black community. If you want to just tell us a little bit more about your thoughts and opinions around this specific topic as it relates to mental health, diversity, inclusion that we're seeing in the marketplace right now.
Absolutely. I just want to let people know we are suffering from the effects of racialization. And what people say to me is, how does that look? Because it's never been identified before. And I think that the George Floyd murder, along with other things that were subsequently happening around the same time. We had Sandra Bland, we had Corinne Gaines, we had so many other young men that were, even in Toronto, that had suffered some fate, right? And I think for us, it really made us start to look at ourselves in the spaces that we were in. And we started to question, do I feel safe in these environments? Am I feeling safe at school? Am I feeling safe at the university? Am I feeling safe at my workplace? Am I feeling safe in the community? And people were starting to look and question and find out, where are my allies? Where are the people that support me? Does my workplace support my life as an individual? I'm not saying about other lives, do they matter? Of course. But right now, because of the heavy concerns that we have as African people, as Caribbean people, as Black and Indigenous people, we, for some reason, have an extra stigma that is attached to us because of the color of our skin and who we are. And yes, I grew up here, and I'm letting you know I've experienced it. Even with all the letters behind my name, I've had those barriers that I've had to fight and remove. And historically, we've had those barriers that we've had to fight, and they have been removed. However, there's just a certain level that we've never had to address. And it's how we are treated in those spaces. How are you treated at work? Are you respected for your opinions and your ideas? When you're sitting in the classroom, does the content and what you're reading in terms of literature reflect your history and your background and your cultural identity? And in order for people to have diversity, yes, you have many people that look like different people. We respect differences, but what we're asking for is the inclusion. Where is the literature? Where is the written content? Where is the created content that has a history and a lineage attached to it? And we're not seeing the presence as consistent as other cultures have in terms of our African Caribbean heritage and identity.
Okay. That's so powerful, so powerful.
Absolutely.
And you know, as a Black woman, I can tell you that I also have had experiences, but really looking at myself and really learning to love myself, learning to value who I am, finding, you know, the strength in my voice and my passion to serve, and really stepping into spaces sometimes where it may feel uncomfortable, but making a decision, a resolve within my heart that I am here to stay, you know? And, you know, I'm just curious, what are some of, we know that the issues exist in terms of, you know, racialization, as you call it, the microaggressions that's experienced for many across the board. And, you know, Black, Indigenous, and you have people of color. You're seeing an uprising in the Asian community towards Asian, all of these things. So we know that across the board systematically there is a problem, right? And so what are some of the things people can do to either cope or skills that they need to develop as they're navigating this landscape? Because we know that change, you know, is really in the hands of many that hold the power, but we have something that we can do for ourselves as well. What are some of the things that we can do as we navigate this landscape?
Well, there's a couple of things, and I think young people are really taking the action on that when they're starting to question what is authentic about, you know, living here. What are those rights and responsibilities? Let's review them. Let's see if they are applying to what is currently going on today. And this is why I say to people, we have to accept our current reality and the way that things are. It's been a year now. So when you look at what's been happening for your year, it has revealed a lot of things. And are you in tune to what those things are? We can't avoid them any longer. We've been stepped away from all of those distractions. Now we have to focus on what's important. So what's going on right now? Let's take an internal look. Let's just take a break from some of the things that were distracting us and stimulating us. And let's assess those 5 areas. And that's your home, your financial security, your health, your children, and your education or your future. We have to look at that wheel, and we call it the wheel of life. And where are we? Are we assessing? And are we really taking a look at some of those areas where we could have not focused our energy on? How can we focus our energy on it? And if there's some things that we're lacking or that we need to improve, where are those areas that you need to improve? You got to assess your children. You got to assess your status. You got to assess a lot of things right now. Why not take that time to just focus on those things that matter? And especially when you're in business, right? This is a good time to really focus on those steps. What are those key areas that maybe you weren't hitting your targets, or maybe you weren't doing well in your SEO? Like, how do you take that time now to just focus on those things and recalibrate, reassess, and then, you know, go forward?